At ease, I am sold. Success is working 24 hours a day. But so how is that possible to go? What I said was success means to be working 24 hours out of every single day. How copy? I was reading Rose's book, man. If you haven't checked it out, it's a great read, man. It's The Perfect Day to Boss Up, A Hustler's Guide to Building Your Empire. And I was just thumbing through it this morning, and I was focused on the chapters called Your Bedroom is Your Office, right? Now, this chapter starts off with an excerpt from Robert Greene's book, The Mastery, which I don't have, but I definitely need to pick up. And it says this. It says, work is often seen as means for making money so we can enjoy that second life that we lead. It says, even if we derive some satisfaction from our careers, we still tend to compartmentalize our lives in this way. This is a depressing attitude because in the end, we spend a substantial part of our waking life at work. If we experience this time as something to get through on the way to real pleasure, then our hours at work represent a tragic waste of the short time we have to live. And again, that's Robert Greene's Mastery, right? But this is true, man. Like this is very true. Like when you think about it, most of us spend, several years getting all these degrees. Most of us spend several years getting certifications, getting certain types of job, qualifications and experience and all that stuff just to end up at a job that we don't like, that we don't want to be at, doing things we don't want to do for 8 hours at minimum out of the day. In other words, 33% of every single day is dedicated to doing something you don't want to have any parts of, right? You really have to think about what that means, right? Let's say you live to be 100 years old. If we break it down and say, 8 hours of the day is for work, 8 hours a day is for, personal pleasure, 8 hours a day is for sleep. That means if you live to be 100 years old, you're really only experiencing 33 years of a solid life. Of enjoying this experience, man. 33 years out of 100. Like that really brings this thing into perspective, man. It makes me think about one of my partners, rest in peace, and my brother Phil. And I made a video about brother Phil a long time ago. And to be honest, man, Phil, the guy I grew up with, man, he was really like my first mentor. He was really like, the first mentor to all the brothers in my hood, man. He was a little bit older, man, but he kind of showed us how to move. And I think about Phil and his life, right? Like Phil only lived to be 40 years old, but Phil pretty much lived 40 years of that. In other words, once Phil got of age, man, he only participated. He only put his hands on. He only did things that involved the direction he was going. So when he died at 40, it's still like he's going to live a more fulfilling life than the majority of people that live, man. It's all about having control. It's all about having ownership of this experience. And when I say working 24 hours a day, like that's what I mean. Like a lot of people think that success is the trinkets, man. A success is the crib and all these things. That's not what success is, man. Success, those things are the byproducts of being successful, right? And success, bro, I'm telling you, the only way I can describe it is only doing things that you love. Only doing things that you love. Going back to the book, man. There was a part here, same chapter, the chapter Your Bedroom is Your Office. There was a part in here, man, where Rick Ross was talking about a job that he had at a young age, man. And he was saying that he was working at a detail shop. I think he got paid, $30 per car or something like that. And he said, man, he would hit the tires, he would clean the car up, man. He would even condition the seats, right? He said, but every single time he would go the extra mile and arrange the CDs and the cassettes and all that stuff in alphabetical order. He was just doing extra stuff because he was doing what he loved. Like that's what he loved to do. He said it didn't matter if he got a tip or not. He said this is what I'm going to do just because I love it. And the result of that is he became successful behind it and began, that mindset is what developed him, man. So it's all about doing only what you love, man. It's about doing what when you get done with your work or your craft or whatever, that you can sit back and just observe it. You can just sit back and observe it. I can remember, man. I can remember when I was trying to finish school up, and I had a lawn service. I had a lawn service for about I guess maybe 1 or 2 summers. And I had a few clients. I had a few, insurance companies in Tyler, Texas that I would cut the grass. But I can remember, some people just wanted the grass cut. Some wanted the full, trim and bushes. And every once in a while, man, if I saw a company that really needed, I would just go the extra mile. Even though they didn't want the service, I would trim bushes, man. I would weed eat kind of outside of the area just so I could sit back and observe it when I was done. I would finish the work, man. And again, I would just sit on the back of my truck sometimes and just look at it and drink a nice glass of tea when I got done, just to enjoy the craft, man. Just to enjoy the craft, man. You have to focus in, man, only what you love, brothers. That's why I'm always telling brothers and sisters to tap in. Like in the year 2022, there is no thing that you can't live off of. There is no craft, no talent, no mindset that you can't monetize. There is no hobby. There's nothing that a person can do nowadays that they can't live off of it if they really desire to, man. So it's all about finding that thing. And the thing is, we say it all the time, that people are going to go to their graves with brilliance. People are going to go to their graves with millions of dollars that they didn't spend. In other words, a lot of people are going to go to their graves having given a career, having given some company, 30, 40, even 50 years of their life, when they could have been enjoying life, when they could have been doing their own craft, when they could have taken back that 8 hours a day, when they could have lived more than that 33 years of their life, man. I'm telling you, brother, it's all about freedom. Like once you understand what this experience is about, you understand how we're supposed to move. Man, the way this society structures us to move and how we're supposed is backwards, bro. Is backwards. What they do is they put the desire for things out in front of us and make us lose focus on having that freedom. On having that freedom, man. There was a part in here where he was talking about Evander Holyfield. Because Rick Ross bought Evander Holyfield's home in Georgia. And he was talking about like one of the reasons that Evander failed, like his career kind of fell off and why his money fell off. And he was saying it was because he stepped out of entertaining things that he loved. In other words, he's saying that anytime a man is entertaining something outside of what he loves to do, like he's risking, falling off, man. That's what he said, brothers. He said Holyfield was known as one of the best trained and best conditioned athletes in the sport. He said so he should have been selling workout equipment, protein powder, instead of hawking barbecue sauce and fire extinguishers. He claimed to be a devout, born again Christian. So why did he launch a record label and sign a gangster rapper who was C Murder's protege? Why would anyone look to Evander Holyfield for these things? Like that's exactly what he was saying, bro. Anytime you move in a way, anytime you entertain something that's outside of your true purpose, that's outside of your true mission, brother, you risk moving funny and you risk falling off, man. Do only the things you love, brothers. I know some of y'all that are content creators, man. Anybody that has a YouTube channel, has a strong following on Twitter or IG or any of those, your DM stays full of people trying to get sponsored. I mean, I can look at my DM, not my DM, but my emails every week, man. I can find people wanting me to, sponsor with, meditation practices that are kind of foreign, or sports bars or sports drinks and all this stuff that isn't part of what I do on a daily basis. And it's like, bro, I don't want to entertain that because it's not who I am. I've entertained Blocker X. I did a run with Blocker X because I don't watch, and I think that really goes against what a man's being at his highest level, right? And I also work with partner with Tej Hanley, and that's because that's my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about getting healthy. I'm all about having clean skin. I'm all about that product. Even when my partnership is over at some point with Tej Hanley, I'm still going to use that product probably for the rest of my life because I'm bought into it. You know what I'm saying? It's who I am. Like, don't do anything outside of of what you would normally do, man. Don't entertain any person. Don't entertain any places, any things that you wouldn't do on a regular basis, that you don't love, that you don't participate in. I know Rick Ross was talking about like the thing he mentioned, a few of the things he's gotten into, which everybody know he's into Wingstop. He said, I got into wines and spirits because alcohol and partying go hand in hand with the nightlife scene that I'm involved in every weekend. I started a fast food franchise enterprise because people know Rose for being a fat NIG who loves to eat good food. It's all about doing only what you love, but it's all about getting that 24 hours back. So when I say that success means working 24 hours, that means, like I've said, that means that everything you touch, that means that everything you do in a 24-hour day, if it's not going towards your purpose, if it's not going towards your plan, brother, don't entertain it. Don't entertain it. Find a way out of it. If you're going to clock in and you working for General Motors and you building Tahoes, or you going to work for Staples, or you going to work for Chick-fil-A, and it's not going towards your purpose, brother, you need to find your way out of that. Find your way out. And I talk about that all the time. In the Power Circle, we talk about that all the time, and brothers are coming out of that, man. 24 hours a day, man, you have to take ownership. And I'm telling you, a lot of that is just understanding who you are. A lot of that is just understanding how this world is supposed to work, as opposed to, how the system is feeding us on how it's supposed to work, man. And wrapping this chapter up, man, the brother said this. He says, when you can find a way to enjoy every aspect of your life, even when you're in the trenches, that's when you've truly mastered the game, man. That's when you truly master the game, man. Brothers, we have to take control of our days, man. If we want to be successful, we have to be men that are working 24 hours a day. And when I say that, what I mean is, when you get up and you work on your craft, of course, we know that's part of what we do for a living. But also, once you get done, once you finish your work for the day, once you go and entertain restaurants, once you go and entertain establishments, it still needs to be a part of who you are. It still needs to be a part of you. And I know you're saying, so that's only 2/3 of the day. How can you still work 24 hours a day? Brother, that goes back to what I'm always talking about. Manifestation. If your sleep isn't focused on the place you're going, matter of fact, that third is the most important. That last third of the day is the most important. If your sleep, if your dreams, if your meditations before you go to sleep aren't focused on where you're going, aren't having gratitude for the things that you have now, the life that you have now, your experiences, and creating more of those going forward, brother, you out of whack. And I'm telling you this, man, a lot of the jobs we have, man, they stress us out to the point. It's kind of like going back when he said, like when Robert Greene said, even how I'm paraphrasing, even how we justify, even if we can find some kind of gratification in that work time, we still compartmentalize it. I'm telling you this, man, most people's jobs are so miserable, or they're so miserable at their jobs, that once they get out, they can't even enjoy the second 8 hours. They get home and they have the wife and the kids and all that. They can't even enjoy that because they're so caught up in having to go back to this miserable place the next day. I'm telling you, brothers, you're not living if you're living like that, man. You're not experiencing this life if you're still living like that. And I'm telling you, you have to find your way out of it, man. I can easily say that I didn't start living to after I was 40 years old. I had the game back. I had the game backwards, man. I was chasing trinkets, which forced me to have to do things that I didn't want to do. Once I released that, man, I said, you know what? Let me focus on myself. Let me focus on the remaining days I have on this planet, man. Let me focus on living this life the way I was supposed to live it. But the life changed, man. And I want the same thing for my brothers as I want for myself, man. So yeah. Success means working 24 hours a day.